What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Tricky Jim. Gonna be playing a game on PTCGO today, and I don't know what to play this morning. I just woke up, figured we'd crank out a gameplay real quick, and I'm feeling, we could play Passimian. We could play Greninja Break, even though it's I haven't updated that list yet. We'll get to that. We'll do that eventually here, one of these days. We could play the Eggman. We could play Buzzrock. We could play Bulu. I don't know. I get some requests for Bulu every once in a while. We're having an identity crisis today. Let's play Psychic Malamar. All right, we're going to play Psychic Malamar. I still want to try out this deck more and more headed into the North American International Championship. So I'm kind of trying to narrow in my testing and the games that I play to be decks that I'm really trying to consider for Nats. As much as I'd like to, rock out games with Bulu and stuff like that, I don't really know if Bulu is like the best option for the North American International Championships. It's in kind of like a weird spot. I think that Baby Buzzwole is like not great for the deck. You have to discard energy from Bulu just to knock it out. Meanwhile, that thing gets to kind of just like plug away at your guys, can one-hit KO your Vikavolts. Doesn't seem great. Malamar, I do think, is a top choice, though. Buzzwole, I think, is a top choice, and Zoroark is a top choice. Those are kind of like the three decks that I consider to be like in the top tier right now. You can see my opponent also playing Malamar. I love that they're playing the Oranguru. I think that that card is good in here, even though I don't have it in my list currently. Still a good card, though, and I do like its inclusion. I have been running into a lot more Parallel City lately on PTCGO. I mean, in Zoroark decks, also in Malamar decks. I've even been seeing Parallel City in Buzzwole decks. I think it's a good kind of check all because Parallel City is good against two of the three top decks in format. So potentially Parallel City could be a big player at the North American International Championships. You could see it cropping back up in Malamar decks. You could see it cropping back up in Zoroark decks, but also in Buzzwole decks. I mean, just to counter those other two archetypes. Now, Buzzwole does well against Zoroark already. You don't really need Parallel City, but I mean, every little bit helps. At Sheffield, Zoroark decks were able to make it to the finals despite there being plenty of Buzzwole. Now, apparently the guy who won Sheffield said that, Buzzwole was his worst matchup for sure, but the 1/1 Octillery line gave him an out to beat those decks because all he had to do is kind of take out the Octillery and hope that they started to whiff things like Peace Strings and stuff like that. Which is entirely possible. And he also played Delinquent, so that was a cool thing that he did as well. See, my opponent's also playing this this sniping Portal Strike Hoopa, which is pretty neat. My Mewtwo should be able to stop him from, sniping with that thing, though. Hyperspace Punch shouldn't be doing too much with that pressure ability from Mewtwo. So we've kind of got the best of both worlds here. We've got, my pressure Mewtwo versus his Hyperspace Hoopa, and we're going to see who, kind of remains on top here. Now, I am, feeling a little greedy. I would love to go, Sycamore the Psychic Energy. I think I might actually be playing Bridget in this list, so we're going to check, see if we got Bridget in here. We do. All right, we've got Bridget. So I'm going to go Bridget, and I'm going to get myself some Inkays out, and then next turn we're going to Sycamore that Psychic Energy away, perhaps. That feels a little, maybe not Sycamore. We're not going to Sycamore. We're just going to attach an energy here. We'll see. All right, I'm Bridgeting first. We're going to Bridget, and we're going to get our dudes out. 2 Inkay, and then probably, let's see, we've got Mewtwo, we've got Necrozma. I prized my Dawn Wings. And then Clefairy seems fine. Mewtwo seems fine. My opponent's got their own Inkays and a Hoopa out. I think Mewtwo seems like appropriate here. I could get myself Clefairy. I don't mind Clefairy at all. And it's just a pretty good card for this matchup. In case my opponent takes a quick knockout, then I can kind of come up with Clefairy and do that. But I'm going to save the Clefairy probably for later. We're just going to load up with the Mewtwo situation. Then I'll probably attach an energy to my bench Mewtwo here. And then next turn, we're going to go Floatstone on the active and Cynthia and just try to set up from there. Keep these Mewtwo's out, stop Hyperspace Punch from doing much of anything. But if my opponent gets a quick attack here, that's fine. I prized my... They're also playing the Marshadow. I think I'm not sure if I'm playing Marshadow in the system. I'm going to cut Marshadow and just said, you know what, we're not beating Zoroark because Zoroark is just not a good matchup for the Psychic Malamar deck. I feel like you probably could do some things to make it a little bit better. I mean, but just the kind of run-of-the-mill stuff, like one Marshadow doesn't really get you there. The Parallel City is just like way too ugly to have to deal with, really. And playing your own Parallel City doesn't even guarantee that you'll get it first. Also, since Zoroark just draws way more cards than you, they're going to be able to just hit that Field Blower Parallel and then just like get you right back, even if you do play your own Parallel City. So playing Parallel kind of feels just like fruitless versus that deck. Now my opponent's got the turn 2 Hyperspace Punch here, Portal Strike, I mean. Turn 2 Portal Strike. With that Hoopa, they've got a Malamar in play. They've got their Floatstone Dawn Wings in play. They've got like a pretty good setup here. And they've got, you know, pretty much everything that they want. Now, they did play Max Elixir. I was going to say, they seem like further ahead in attachments than they should be. They played Max Elixir, so they were able to get that going there. Let's promote an Inkay. We're going to throw a Floatstone on it. And then, yeah, we're going to throw a Floatstone on, yep, another one too. And we're just going to Cynthia and hope that we draw like some fire off of here. And we've got 2 letters, but no way to get energy into the discard pile. Yikes. That's a little bit frustrating. This thing does 130 damage, so my opponent can easily just go, you know, invasion, retreat, and attack again here. So that's not good, but that's fine. We're going to Professor's Letter here, get 2 Psychics, and we don't even have our own Dawn Wings, so that's not good. We can just make sure I don't have, yeah, I do not have any sort of energy in the discard pile here. So we're going to retreat into this Giratina, make them take out the Giratina, attach to our Mewtwo here, and pass. And then next turn we'll have an attack. And hopefully that's just, hopefully they don't have Guzma. I don't know, Guzma would be very annoying right now. Like, I want them to take out the Giratina. That's why the Giratina is out there. They can go ahead 2 prizes. I'm confident that we can run it back a little bit. They don't really have that many Malamar in play. They just have got their 2. And I feel like we can potentially run it back with our GX attack. If we can pull our GX out of there, they do have Guzma. They're knocking out my Mewtwo. That feels bad. I'm not sure that I'll be able to get this Giratina powered up this turn. I mean, that is just like a lot to get going. So let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I'm trying to think of like if Mewtwo or if Lele could do it. Lele could potentially knock out the Hoopa. I would need like a lot of energy though. Whew, let's see. All right, so I've got 2 Malamar in play. I would need a 3rd Malamar and a 3rd energy in the discard pile in order to get this Giratina attacking. The Giratina attacking would be good, but if I miss, that's really bad. If I get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, I would also need 4 energy on the Lele. So I think that we're just going to go for the Giratina here and hope that I get a Psychic and a Mysterious Treasure. And we did. Okay, so we actually got everything that we need, surprisingly, to attack with this Giratina this turn. So thank goodness for that. And this actually could put my opponent in a little bit of a weird spot if they can't actually knock out this Giratina. Also, Giratina gets a Shadow Claw, so like they get 1 less card in their hand than I end. So I end them to 4, but it's really like I'm ending them to 3, and I'm getting ready to just like, you know, get something out of their hand. So this is very good for me. They don't have anything on board right now that can knock out this Giratina. The Dawn Wings only does 120. Giratina is weak to Dark, not Psychic. So this is a nice little come up for me. This is a good turn. We needed this. And Giratina can very easily, you know, could sweep my opponent. They've got 1 Malamar in play. And I got the Sycamore out of their hand with Shadow Claw. Oh, what an amazing move. That is so good. All right. Let's hope they don't really have anything else in that hand over there. Maybe they do have another supporter, but still, getting the Sycamore out feels good, man. Feels good. Now, on my end, you know, this is fine. We've got 3 Malamar. My opponent's got 1. They're up on me 1 prize, but if they just have to hit into Giratina, with their GX, that is a super good thing for me. I can afford to just N again and hit into the Dawn Wings with Giratina. They have a Cynthia, so they are going to draw some cards, but you could tell they're starting to load up on the Dawn Wings. They're kind of just admitting that they're not knocking out the Giratina this turn. They would need, oh no, that's not good. We are getting field blowered, but they would need, what, a Necrozma GX with like 3 energy on it to blow up my Giratina. They're not hitting that this turn, especially with only 2 Malamars in play. Did not think that they were going to hit that off of their Cynthia. Now, I could end them again. I could Sycamore. I could throw down my own Necrozma GX and go blow their Dawn Wings up. That feels like a little bit sketchy, though. I mean, because Necrozma GX is weak to Psychic. I could just hit into the Giratina with hit into the Dawn Wings with my Giratina, then potentially even knock out the Dawn Wings with my Lele. Lele is kind of difficult to knock out. They would, go down to 3 prizes. I would also go down to 3 prizes with my Lele. Then they'd have to blow mine up, go down to 2 prizes. They'd have to blow it up with their Necrozma GX. Then when they come in with Necrozma GX, I could come in with Dawn Wings, right? And then I could GX it and try to end them again, something like that. Like, that's how I'm kind of foreseeing the game playing out, back and forth, back and forth. I think that that's good. I mean, I could get like a Rescue Stretcher always as well, so like I might not have to go in with Lele, which could be good. Looks like my opponent is playing Pressure Mewtwo as well. They're going to slap that on the bench just so that they can put an energy on it and kind of prepare that for next turn. But I suspect they have, do they have 2 Psychic Recharges? Okay, so they haven't used one yet. They manually attached from hand to that Dawn Wings. So yeah, now they have a 0-card hand. Pretty sure they've instructed already. Yep, so they are going to hit this thing for 120. Now, I've got a tough choice. I don't think that I actually go in with my Necrozma and blow this thing up. Then my opponent would just go in with their own Mewtwo, and that's not good for me. So I have to consider my options carefully, and I think that I do attempt to 2-hit KO this thing. My opponent's got a 0-card hand. I mean, it would be sweet to be able to blow up that Oranguru. Then they really don't have any options to draw cards. But Shadow Claw, unfortunately, is not going to get to discard a card from my opponent's hand. I don't want to end them this turn. That just gives them more cards in hand. I think we do kind of have to Sycamore here and hope that I hit some Rescue Stretchers. I do have Rescue Stretchers in deck, so I don't feel bad kind of getting rid of these cards at all. Let's just get rid of these here. I am going to Sycamore. I don't want to end my opponent up. We could get the Clefairy. We are behind in prizes. I could GX. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so we're going to get Clefairy, and then we're going to try and see if we can potentially GX this thing with Clefairy. Now, I don't have any energy in the discard pile, though, so that's not great. But I could potentially draw into it. You never know. Then we're going to Mysterious Treasure here. And let's see. We don't need probably that other Malamar in deck. So we could hit Letter, Ultra Ball, Mysterious Treasure. There's a bunch of things we could hit to make this attack happen. But we're going to have to see. All right, so we're going to get that. And then we're just going to Sycamore this hand and see what we get off the old draw here. If I do have to just Shadow Claw this thing, it's fine. Yep, that's looking like that's what we're going to do. That's okay. I want to remove their Float Stones, make it a little more awkward for them to do what they want to do here. So let's just do that. We're going to Field Blower. Probably the Malamar and the... I mean, as weird as it is, yes, I'm not knocking out this Necrozma, but that's fine. I want to, clog up their deck later in the game. This Necrozma is going to end up going down. I have Shadow Claw now, and I do have Rescue Stretcher in hand, so that's good too. So I'm going to hit this thing with Shadow Claw. I don't get to discard anything from their hand. Next turn, I have Guzma. I could just Guzma and knock something out. I can go in. I could go in with the Clefairy next turn, and I could GX this Dawn Wings next turn, which is okay. I could also Rescue Stretcher, a non-EX, non-GX Pokemon. like Mewtwo or something, and then Guzma knock out their Necrozma. So they're going to go to 3 prizes. I would also like to knock out a GX next turn and go to 3 prizes. I could just knock out the Mewtwo in the active, go to 4 when my opponent's at 3, and then when they go to 2, I could GX, but I don't like going to 2 prizes. I don't like letting my opponent go to 2 prizes with my Lele here on the board, because they could just get themselves like Necrozma GX and then just get everything they need to just Energy Guzma and just blow up my Lele for game. So I don't really love that. I think I do want to potentially, let's see, I could just like N them to 3 and then knock this thing out with Lele. The Clefairy is a tough choice. I feel like I need to use the Clefairy now, actually. I need to use the Clefairy like sooner rather than later. Okay, they're going to knock this thing out with Lele. They kind of see the potential for bad things to happen here. So I think they're going to go to 3 prizes. They've got energy kind of all over the board here. I think I do go, you know, triple Psychic Recharge and then Guzma and then potentially just GX the Dawn Wings. Alternatively, I go in with my Lele and GX the Dawn Wings. Not GX the Dawn Wings. I go Lele and just Energy Drive the Dawn Wings. They don't have anything in play that can knock out my Lele right now, and I mean they might have access to. I'm going to promote the Malamar. They might have access to like a quick Necrozma GX, which would be a little bit of a bummer. I actually can go, oh, this is an ideal play. Since I top decked that energy, I can go Rescue Stretcher Giratina, and then I can Shadow Claw that. That's like kind of ideal, I think. So Shadow Clawing, you know, makes them kind of chew through some more non-GX Pokemon. So let's shuffle 3 Pokemon back into my deck. Yeah, let's do that. Because I'm going to shuffle in the Giratina and my Necrozma both, and probably also a Mewtwo seems fine. We're going to throw all those back into the deck. Then we're going to Mysterious Treasure away my Mewtwo GX. We're going to go grab Giratina, and since we have 3 Psychic Recharges in play, we can do triple Psychic Recharge and bring back the bane of my opponent's existence, this Giratina promo, who is just insane in the mirror match because this thing does not get knocked out by anything other than a Necrozma GX. And you can see kind of how I am benefiting from having way more acceleration in play than my opponent right now, because I'm able to power up this beefy guy who does not easily get one-hit KO'd by anything. So then we are going to Guzma up this thing and Shadow Claw it. So that's great. Now I could have GX'd it here, but I want to save my GX just in case. I want to save my GX for potentially a different play. I could always go grab Mewtwo GX. I mean, I could Rescue Stretcher that Mewtwo GX back, and I could Side Strike GX for game or something like that if the situation arises. If my opponent happens to go down in prizes and then they try to GX me, I do have that as an option. My opponent is going for Max Elixir here. They could actually knock me out with a fully loaded Lele. If they do knock me out with a fully loaded Lele, I wonder if I could potentially, have the cards to knock them out with a Clefairy. Let's see, they would need 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So they actually have it with Lele right now. So, okay, so they can get there with Lele. They're going to go down to 2 prizes. I can't knock them out with anything that's weak to Psychic. I have to get myself Dawn Wings. I don't have Dawn Wings because Dawn Wings is prized. So this is just not a great scenario for me to be in, but it's fine. I do have Guzma, though, so Guzma is an option. So they're at 2, 4, 6. 8, 10, 12, 14. I can't do enough damage to knock them out with Clefairy. I can Guzma. I think I try to Guzma and knock out like something with. I think I try to knock out that Mewtwo probably with my Mewtwo here. I have Rescue Stretcher. So actually, let's see, they're going down to 2 prizes. I can't GX them yet because that Mewtwo is like right there on the bench, kind of just looming there. So that's not good. I think we are going to end up probably using this Mewtwo here. So we have to use Mewtwo, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. They need one more energy to knock out my Mewtwo. We don't have an energy, or else I'd bring up the Giratina again, but we don't have an energy. We can't do that. Rescue Stretcher could get me Mewtwo, Giratina. All right, no one that we really need. The Mewtwo GX could be good eventually, but we're not going to do that. All right, we're just going to Psychic Recharge 3 times to our Mewtwo, and then knock out my opponent's Mewtwo and hope that my opponent doesn't have game. I could also knock out, let's see, I could also knock out opponent's Malamar is an option. If I knock out a Malamar, then they can just knock me out with Mewtwo. Then I need another Guzma for game. Like, I'm going to need to pull another Guzma out of the deck somehow. Like, just hope I top deck it or something like that, because I'm going to need to bring up this Lele again. Ideally, my opponent just, like, knocks me out with Lele because they don't have anything else. But so I think I have to take out the Mewtwo, because if I don't take out the Mewtwo, then my opponent will take out my Mewtwo with their Mewtwo, and then I'm in a weird situation where I have to find Guzma for game. But if I just take that out here, oh, we got the Dawn Wings. This is great. So now if my opponent knocks out my Mewtwo with their Lele, then I just plop down Dawn Wings and I can GX for game. And that's it, right? So it was a good thing that I saved my GX. Now, they could GX me. If they GX me, then I need to go get Mewtwo GX out of the discard pile and hope that I get a Floatstone or something like that. Now, they promoted the guy with no energy, so maybe they have... Oh, if that hand is literally Necrozma GX, energy, Guzma, I am going to be so sad. We will have came so far just to lose a very close mirror. So I was hoping that maybe they wouldn't have it. Looks like they failed their Mysterious Treasure, so they might not have it. I think they... Let's see, what do they have in their discard pile? They've got a Dawn Wings and a Marshadow. The Necrozma GX is still at large. Oh, here comes Clefairy. Okay, so they want to knock out my Clefairy. That's actually fine. And then I have 2 energy in the discard pile. I can retreat them away, actually, and then Invasion and knock out this thing for game. So we do have game here. We were able to finesse it, so that's pretty cool. In the Malamar Mirror, the exact Malamar Mirror, I mean, this is pretty much very similar decks here. They do have Oranguru on their side, which is kind of cool, allowing them to juice their hand. But we were able to finally get exactly what we needed with that one Dawn Wings Necrozma. We were able to use Mewtwo to our advantage to kind of jockey for position here. The Clefairy didn't end up being useful. The Clefairy is like way better against the Dragon Ultra Necrozma version. But you can see they're kind of going like Ham Lele here at the end of the game. And that's because Lele doesn't get knocked out by anything in our decks other than a GX attack from Dawn Wings or Necrozma GX, and then you don't really usually bring out Necrozma GX in this matchup because of the fact that it is, yes, it is Psychic Weak. All right, so let's do this thing. We've got here, and they're like, oh no, you're not about to do it. And I'm like, yeah, I am about to do it. All right, here we go. We're going to Psychic Recharge twice, then we're going to retreat, Invasion, and Psychic Recharge that. We're going to retreat, Psychic Recharge a final time, and then Invasion and get it. So let's retreat into Lele, the specific way we got to do this. All right, and then we get to Psychic Recharge our 3rd time. And then let's Invasion and get this game wrapped up. All right, thank you all for watching that. That was a cool game. Nice little comeback there. Close game. Moon's Eclipse GX for knockout. That was nuts. That was a nutty mirror match, so pretty cool stuff. Stoked to get the W there. That was awesome. Shout out to my opponent for a good game. Going to show off the list real quick. It's a list I'm working on. I'm not exactly sure if it's ideal yet, but I mean, it's headed that way. The deck is running smoothly, and I'm definitely starting to feel pretty confident about it. It does make me nervous playing against Zoroark decks, though. That doesn't, that really still sketches me out. So, you could throw in Marshadow. You could throw in some other kinds of counters. Parallel City, you could play your own Parallel City. In my experience, it's been hard to keep your own Parallel City up against opposing Zoroark decks, though, because like I said, they'll just draw into the Field Blower Parallel combo, and they'll end up getting you with it themselves. See, we're playing very thin attackers. I mean, 1 Mewtwo, 1 Necrozma, 1 Dawnwings, 1 Clefairy, 1 Giratina, 2 Mewtwo's here, and we play 2 Rescue Stretchers, so the idea is that you kind of just can bring back the attackers that are good versus specific matchups. You guys saw I was able to bring back Giratina, I was able to bring back Mewtwo's, things like that. In that matchup, I was kind of able to handpick whoever I wanted to bring back again, so that was pretty cool there. So thank you all so much for watching the video. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, check out the sweet Patreon and Etsy stuff in the description below. I've also got some of my PSA graded returns up on eBay. My eBay store is EnjoyFriend, just like my Twitter handle, if you want to check those out as well. Already sold a couple, but I'm stoked on those as well. If you guys got to see my vintage PSA graded returns on the Darium's main channel as well, that was awesome, and I had a great time cracking those. So thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, ring that bell. Peace.